Hello, everyone. You're listening to Northern Flights, a Park Pro podcast keeping you up to date with the people, tournaments, and culture of disc golf in Canada and beyond. Consider becoming a Patreon today at patreon.com/parkpro. Find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by DiscGolfPark. And now your hosts, Andre, Jesse, and Matt.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of the Northern Flights podcast. As you can see, this is the crowdest our virtual studio has ever been. There's so many people in here. We have two very special guests, one of them being Sofia, Donnecke, and the other being Gabby. So they recently announced some major sponsorships. It's not just the Eagle getting the big sponsorship, but maybe the second biggest signing for MVP there is Gabby. So we're going to talk about that. And then obviously Sofia signed with Innova. So some big news coming out of Canada, and awesome to see sponsorships, up north of the border. So, but yeah, as usual, we got Matt, Jesse, and then of course Max as well. So welcome, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
I'm just curious to see how this is going to look on the thing, because it's like we've got 5 different screens here.
You ever seen the Brady Bunch, Max?
No, I'm not that old.
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
That's old. Cut him out.
Neither have I, but I understand cultural references.
I know the reference. I get it.
You ever seen I think so. Hollywood Squares? Is that also before your time, Max?
Ooh, I mean,
was that like the 70s or something?
I could just be uncultured.
I'll take Gilbert Gottfried for the win.
Oh God.
All right. Anyway,
it's gonna look with that if you can do the voice.
It looks good.
Swing and a miss.
The Gilbert Gottfried voice or the host?
Okay, let's just move on.
Moving on.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, why don't we just we got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of news in Canadian disc golf, and obviously sponsorship news from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. But we're going to start off with chatting with Gabby and Sofia. So first off, congratulations. And my first question is, how when did you guys decide on your sponsors, and did you guys have other offers coming in, or how did that all look? And why don't we start with Gabby first?
Yeah, sure. How did it come about? Well, to be honest, I did reach out to companies kind of like in the fallish to see if anyone would be interested in taking me on. So I contacted companies that I would be interested in representing, obviously following, some of my favorite discs. And I was chatting with a couple people, but ultimately, MVP came through with the best offer. And also it was kind of great to see the recognition that they had for the support that I was doing in the community and the events that I run, but also as a player. So really excited that they're kind of supporting my season in terms of, both playing events and running them. So yeah, semi-organic. I shot my shot and it turned out well for me, and have some good connections in the community too who supported me along the way. So you know who you are, everyone, if you're listening, and yeah, grateful to you and to everyone who supported that. So yeah, kind of short story, but yeah, that's kind of it.
Good to see MVP kind of bolstering their FPO side as well, because I mean it's really just been Sarah Hokum holding it down, and then they signed Silva Saarinen, the Pro Tour Rookie of the Year from Finland.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to push her to tour like full time. I think she's still pretty young, but yeah, I mean, it's good to see, companies kind of seeing that they kind of need both sides to cater to these new.
Well, and MVP just being interested in Canadian disc golf in general, right? Outside of Chance, I don't think there's anybody else wearing that logo. So you're in an elite and small club.
Yeah, really, really honored to be a part of it. And obviously it comes with a little bit of pressure now being a part of such a big company, and, alongside some of the bigger announcements that they've had recently. So yeah, it's really cool. Really excited. It's kind of surreal still, but yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. And how about
you're on the team with the gyro guys?
With what?
The gyro guys. I think that's the new name for
Crush Boys
the duo.
2.0.
The Crush
I'm in
Boys?
the duo.
Former
Yeah,
Crush
I think
Boys?
they gyro guys now.
Nice. I'll be the gyro gal then.
There you go.
And how about you, Sophia? How did was Innova your first pick too, or?
Yeah, Innova was definitely my first pick. I was actually unsure about whether I was getting an offer or anything until sort of the start of December. So I wasn't even sure I was going to be sponsored for 2024. I had the chance to go down to Southern California because my partner Brett, he's from there. So I actually had the chance. I was invited to play with Dave Donnecke, and so we were playing practice rounds at Martha, and they were super awesome. And I just felt like I had so many connections in the community, and a lot of people like Jen Allen and Stuart McIsaac from BC kind of reaching out to the company on my behalf. So I just felt like I have a lot of people in my corner with the company. And yeah, I'm really excited for the year. And I'm about to order my first bunch of discs. They gave me some discs to practice with, but yeah, so it's exciting, yeah.
That first free allotment it hits different.
Oh yeah, the first box
Yeah.
that comes in.
Exactly, yeah.
I do want to add, also on MVP, can we not forget Madison Walker, please? My favorite FPO player.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
She definitely goes under the radar, but she's there.
They actually have a bigger FPO team than you'd think, but it's very much like the local circuit people for each kind of community. But yeah, for big names, it is kind of Sarah holding it down.
Favorite non-Canadian FPO player, I should say. I've got like 7 other favorite players that all come before Madison Walker. I want to know, both of you, when you started playing disc golf and how did you come to the sport?
Ooh,
Yeah,
big
I can
question.
go first.
Do it.
I feel like we started at this like a similar time actually, but I first touched I first got my first DX set, like the DX Leopards, one of the best discs. Innova actually, I guess. And played a round of tonals in the woods during the pandemic in the summer. And then kind of cooled off, and then in 2021 I started playing again and signed up for my first tournament. It was like a women's global event at Mary's Farm, and yeah, those are awesome. Like lots of women playing disc golf there, and really welcoming. And then I signed up for my second tournament, which was a one-on-one battle against Gabby in like FA3 or something, or FA2 or FA1, I don't remember. And Gabby took it down by like 10 strokes. So yeah, and then ever since then we've just signed up for more and more tournaments, and yeah.
Yeah,
Gabby.
similar time frame for me. Just it was kind of one of my husband's friends who invited us out to play at a tonal course, probably the same course, Sofia, at Millstream. And honestly, I wasn't hooked right away, and my husband continued to play through the winter in the evening, like night golf, and I was just like, no thanks, I don't need to do that. I'm going to bed. But yeah, as soon as kind of the spring started up again and pandemic obviously hit, we had a lot of time to do something different, do something outside, and yeah, so just started playing more and more. And I think that Campbell River tournament that we played in together, Sophia, was one of my first as well. I think either that global event or the Campbell River tournament was one of our first. And I always found it funny that we met up there and we'd never met in Victoria, but we were both from Victoria. So yeah, it was, I don't know what it was about tournaments. I never really considered myself a competitive person, but played just more and more events. And long story short, it's here we are. We're just we're hooked, and I'm hooked, and it's here we are now.
That's amazing. And Sophia, I gotta ask, did you beat Dave Donnecke? And also, were you surprised at how far a 75 or whatever, however old he is, year old man can throw a disc?
Oh, when he got a hold of it, they were going far. He was flipping them over. I think it was his G-Star destroyers. We both throw G-Star destroyers, so he approved of those discs that I was throwing. when we play together, it's they do their special format. They throw their own safari layout every morning that they play. No matter who's on the course, they'll play their, I think it's like maybe 9 holes, and you throw like 6 shots. And then so it wasn't really you don't really keep score, you just sort of see who gets closest. And if it goes past the basket, then it doesn't count. So
How did you do with that? Known for throwing
I got
far.
a lot of doesn't counts. Oh my gosh, actually, the first I played with them again after I signed the contract, and the official hole 2 of the Martham course, I got an ace with Jerry's disc. It was a Hawkeye with those guys. It was pretty awesome. It was actually my second ever basket ace. It's like a 320-foot, pretty open shot, but it was pretty awesome to get an ace on a round with them. So sadly, Jeff Pennis wasn't videoing that one. He videoed a lot of shots, but he didn't get the ace, of course. I gave him a hard time for that.
We believe you.
It's got to be a good
Thank
omen for the newly signed contract to have an ace
I
on
know.
what sounds like the same or next day. Hey,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah. They had to give me the disc too, so it's a Sonic stamped Hawkeye, so pretty cool.
Wow.
It's really cool. Well, if it's my turn for questions, then yeah, you talked about duking it out with Gabby, Sofia early on, and one thing that I've noticed from following your socials and stuff like that is that you've got some of the best competitive female disc golfers in all of Canada tucked away in the Lower Mainland there. What does it mean to you guys to have those people around? I know, Gabby, you said that you weren't a naturally competitive person, but if there's ever a group of people that could push you to be better, that has to be the group, right?
Yeah, certainly. I think when I first started playing, it was Julie Moans that I started playing with initially, and at the time, and still, she's one of the top players. So, to be a part of that and kind of just, I don't know, be friends with her and play alongside her, it was, if anything, just more like, okay, what can I do to keep up, and what can I do to continue playing with these girls that I love playing with? So yeah, I guess indirectly it drove me to play more, to practice more, just to make sure that I could sign up for these events and play alongside them. So, thrilled to be a part of it, and thrilled to be a part of, seeing more and more women grow those divisions. I mean, even since starting, maybe a couple, 2, 3, 4 FPO, and, now we're playing events with upwards of 12, 16 players at some of the bigger ones. So yeah, it's really neat to see. And I mean, even if you're kind of, I happen to look at like the PDGA rankings for like Canadian players and stuff. I think there was a point where like 4 out of 5 or 4 or 5 at the top 10 were from Victoria. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I don't know how. It's there's something good in the water here, and we all just love disc golf, and it's super motivating as well, just to know that you have people to go out, play around with, practice putt with. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll put the same question on to Sofia, because I think even like yesterday, there's like an Instagram story of you and Julie doing form work inside of a garage. Like, what is a winter practice routine? And when you guys get together, what does a practice session look like?
Yeah, so I think Julie had a throwing net in her Amazon cart, and then her partner Anthony bought some things and didn't realize the net was in the cart. So they bought a net and it arrived, and they set it up in their garage yesterday. So I went up there and we did some throwing and checked out the setup, and it's great. And I actually got a radar gun for Christmas. So we're just seeing if we can sort of get some form and speed, just get it set up for winter throwing, because in Victoria we don't have a lot of nice footing in the winter, so it's really hard to practice that max power plant leg and just sort of throwing hard and not sort of changing your form. So that setup is going to be really awesome and helpful. And yeah, just in general, Julie Moens is also one of the first big names, along with Christy Lee, who's another local pro that I was exposed to pretty early on in disc golf and just looked up to a lot. And whenever I got to play with them, I just felt like I learned a lot and wanted to keep playing with them and get to their level. So I think just having some awesome pros around to play with was a huge factor in that. And then becoming friends with other pros that have similar goals and love the game is really, I don't think I would have gotten to where I am now without those people.
Yeah, and that's where disc golf is still so unique, where all the top pros are still so
Accessible.
Accessible.
Is what he was going to say.
You finish each other's sentences. It's so cute.
Yes, exactly.
like even when like remembering playing in Sweden. I mean, like going there for the first time, I didn't know anybody. I like didn't even really plan on playing disc golf all that much. Didn't even bring my discs. Went and grabbed a few, and like there's just, and now knowing them as like the top dogs in Örebro, I was like, those are the first people I saw on the course, and they just wanted me to come tag along because they noticed that I was putting by myself or whatever. But I think, yeah, still you can go to a course, any course, and you'll see, you never know who you're going to see there. And you can just stumble upon a touring pro, and then you're like, oh, what? Learn everything that they have to teach you.
Yeah, it's like the Cranbrook phenomenon. You walk out to the College of the Rockies and then end up playing with Casey Hannemeyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Or Invermere with Max Forgetnig.
I don't play any here.
No.
Or Victoria with Sofia Donnecke.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just kind of wanted to touch on
go ahead.
we kind of talked about it off camera or before the podcast, but the Team Canada for the World Team Championships. Sofia, you played the Pan Am Games this past
I did.
fall. I was kind of planning on doing that, but then once they had said that WR Jackson was a no-go, I was like, not sure what I was going to get, but I just want to know how that experience was, and congratulations for taking it down.
Yeah. Thank you. You missed out because the backup course, Langley Pond, was actually really challenging and awesome. And yeah, I was sort of when I booked my travel, I had like a lot of weird travel to get there because I booked kind of low price flights last minute. So I was sort of going into it, and I didn't know a ton of people that were going to be there. Actually, I didn't know people in person on the team. So I was sort of not nervous to go, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. But then once I got there, it just Team Canada, like all the players were staying in the same house, and our Airbnb was like this renovated church building. So we were all in this really cool space, and we all got along really well. And we came out of the event itself went really smoothly. Unfortunately, I think Colombia came, Mexico and Panama had to drop out in the last second for various reasons. But it felt slightly different than a tournament, a normal tournament vibe. I'm not sure, I guess you're playing for your country, and so you're on a team, and then the teams gave each other gifts and tokens from their countries. So it felt a little bit more like a world championships where people represent their countries instead of themselves and their sponsors. So it definitely had a special feeling. Taking down the final match was also really awesome. I think that was probably the most fun I've ever had in a disc golf round. Once I realized we were I think we were behind a point or two for the first few holes, and then we slowly kind of came back and took the lead and hung on to it. And so it was just really cool to be partners with Thomas Gilbert and sort of land in a spot, and he's like, okay, should I take this route or that route? And then I'm like, well, I can picture a shot doing this, but like it's so hard. And then he would just step up and do that exact shot, like just lace a forehand like 400 feet through this tunnel. So it was just so thrilling. And it's a different mentality when you're playing on a team. And in match play too, you can kind of take risks when you need to, and then take no risks in other holes. So I really had a great time. And yeah, highly recommend it to players thinking about going to one of those events.
Looking forward to Perth. I think that'll be. I mean, it's a pretty similar crew, and I mean, yeah, playing in Australia in the summer might be a little tough. I don't know how hot.
Yeah, we gotta do some heat training.
Yeah,
Bring
just
some
to
stiff plastic.
just to clarify, what you guys are talking about is the WIPDIF Team Disc Golf Championships. It's in Perth, Australia, November 6th to 9th. And I was going to mention this on our previous podcast, but we didn't get to it. So the team is Casey Hannemeyer, Colleen McInnes, Dave Ross, Hector DeCow, Karen Martel, Christy Lee, Max Regenig, Noah Higgins, Sofia Donnecke, Stuart McKissick, and Thomas Gilbert. And of course, Craig Sheether is the captain. And then alternates, we have Chloe Winter, Miguel Alvarado, Thomas Hums, and Jeremy Gauthier. So that is the team. That is Team Canada heading to Perth for the WIPDIF Team Disc Golf Championships. In Perth next year. So congrats to the two of you guys for making it. Very exciting. Are you guys both planning on going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I think all of those people have
I think the
previously...
team, the team is people that are committed to going.
Yeah.
Cool.
They went through. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna. I know that the Disc Golf Pro Tour, it doesn't have too many events out west. But I wanted to ask you guys about your year, especially given your new sponsorships. Do you guys have any obligations that you need to hit a certain amount of events, or are you guys hoping to get down to any of those Disc Golf Pro Tour events? Why don't we start with Gabby?
Sure, yeah. With MVP, I have to play at least 10 events, so shouldn't be a problem.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Probably
I think it was like
you're gonna run 10
16
events.
last year. I don't know about that, but I have a couple under the belt kind of in my mind already. But I'm, to be honest, having a bit of a hard time kind of nailing down which events I want to play this year. I think as of right now, I have a local duck golf event kind of up island here in British Columbia on Vancouver Island in February. And then right now I'm signed up for the Daniel Boa event in California in April. So that's kind of what's set in stone. I have kind of like the big milestone events later on, such as BC Open, TCO, Canadian Nationals in BC here. And what else? A couple events like that. But, on my wish list, would really love to be able to play the Beaver State Fling. We were down in California as well as a road trip. And on the way back up, we got to play Mile of MacGyver in the pouring rain. So, hopefully a little bit of exposure therapy to some of the events or the weather that's possible there. But it was such a cool course. And I think just to play an event there would be really awesome. Portland kind of intimidates me, being more of a ball golf style course. But yeah, I'm keeping my options open, really balancing work, travel, time off, and that kind of thing, just to make sure I can space things out enough to, make it make sense. But those are the big wish list ones right now.
Cool. What do you have planned, Sophia?
I signed up for Debo as well as Gabby, or at the same time as Gabby, I guess. This registration actually filled up like within 30 minutes of it opening.
Oh, wow.
So we got on there quick. I'm actually traveling down to Arizona to visit family like tomorrow. So I'm on the wait list for the Shelley Sharp Memorial. Owen Scoggins snuck in like right before me, so I'm like number one on the wait list. So I'm gonna just show up on Friday morning because it's like an hour away from where I'm staying, and just, I don't know, hang out for Friday if I don't get to play. And then there's like another A tier the next weekend called the Maricopa Open, which is also like an hour away from where I'm staying. So I'll get that in for sure. I'm definitely off the wait list for that one. And then I guess down the road is a bit more uncertain, but I'm signed up for the Pioneer Open in February in Oregon, which is also A tier. I think Christy Lee is going to that one too, so that'll be fun to have a familiar face there. And then after that, the Danbo is in April, and then I guess I have to play 15 events. I don't think I'll have a problem with that. I'm getting an early start, I guess. But yeah, and then leading into the later spring, I'm really hoping to play the challenge at Goat Hill, OTB if I can get in, Portland Open if I can get in, and Beaver State if I can get in, and then BC Open and TCO hopefully as well. So that's sort of what I've got planned out. What's that?
I forgot to say Falcon's Flight.
Yeah, geez. So I have this huge list. I actually just pulled it up, and that's why I was kind of spaced out reading off of it, of like dates and tournaments and sort of where they are. So I've planned out sort of until June, July, and then I'm gonna plan the rest of the year later on. It's tricky to like keep track of when registration opens for events. So a lot of these I'm not signed up for yet, but I'm definitely in Debo. And Memorial Champs in Scottsdale. I'm going back down to Arizona at the end of February. So that one will be a big one. That'll be my first big one of the year, I guess. Sorry, that was super frantic.
Putting together your schedule is pretty overwhelming, especially if you like just every year it seems like there's more and more tournaments, and some of them you feel obliged to play, and then there's only so many weekends in the year, and me doing it full time, I don't really have to think about other obligations, so it's like a little easier that way. But I couldn't imagine people who were like, all right, well, I definitely can't play on these weekends and then try to puzzle piece just tournaments that are happening that weekend. But yeah, I think for what was the tournament you were on first on the wait list? There's so many drops that are that almost always happen.
Memorial.
Yeah, I'm sure at least one person. Like there's usually like 5 to 10 drops even on Pro Tour events. So
it was only 12 people, so it's like hard to say. But I'm hoping, but also I hope.
Yeah, being number one on the wait list definitely makes it a little easier to.
But I've been on the wait list for like a week, so we'll see.
If people are dropping it, it's usually like 2 or 3 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
When they're like, oh, I actually have this, or oh, I'm not feeling so well, or oh, sprained my ankle.
I think I made it into nationals as 28th on the wait list, and it all happened in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's usually
kind of at that 1 month mark when people want their refunds.
Yeah, well, Sharp is like on Friday.
Oh. Yeah. Never mind.
I still believe. Also, Owen Scoggins has a bad tendon in her arm. Just saying. Maybe you'd go for a practice round and challenge her to a forehand distance contest a couple of days before.
Forehand only round.
Yeah.
A few 360s.
Yeah.
I hope everyone gets to play that's going, but if not, then I guess it's not the end of the world for me.
That's nice. I hope that you play.
Me too.
I don't care about the others.
We're all snowed in here, so we'll see how it goes if I do play.
Well, it can be a
warm-up.
Snowed in Victoria.
Yeah,
it's a good time to go to Arizona.
Snowed in right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to just go and play in dry weather.
Yeah. What Jesse was saying is that we're currently in the middle of a snowstorm here as well.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get 18 centimeters by the time it finishes tonight in one day.
Yeah. Shoveled the driveway 3 times already, and there's still snow on the driveway.
Yeah. I made Caitlin a small hockey rink in the yard today, and the snow was filling the area faster than the water was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Unreal.
We got 5 today, and we thought it was like the end of the world. So
YVR is closed.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Wait, YVR is closed?
No, not really, but they
okay.
were saying that they were already running on 80%.
Feels like
Sophia has to be at the Shelley Sharp in like 12 hours.
Well, I think it was WestJet that was canceling a bunch of flights. But
beg them to make a card of 5.
I mean, that kind of leads into a good transition here. Is, I mean, going back to you guys being in Victoria, do you guys think that provides a good advantage as far as off-season stuff goes? I mean, I think a lot of our American listeners probably think Canada is just snowy throughout, but you guys do have the opportunity to practice year round. And do you think that provides you guys with an advantage over some of the other Canadians?
Possibly. I think I kept joking around that I don't really have an off season because there's tournaments year round here. I think the latest one I played was in November, and there were still tournaments in December. I played a tournament first weekend of January, I think it was, or second weekend of January. It's always going. So unless it's snowing like it is right now for like 5 days in the year, we always take the opportunity to go outside. Or my husband and I were in a condo, so we'll go downstairs in our parking garage and putt down there. So there's disc golf every day in some way, shape, or form. But to be able to go outside and throw and practice those bigger movements I think it's advantageous. But I don't know. I don't know anything else, so I don't take it for granted though.
Pretty wet though, I guess.
Yeah. I would say,
Waterproof.
like, for us, it's like the ground gets all wet and soggy. So you just, if you're playing, you're slip and sliding a lot. So it's, I guess, similar to like Seattle, except that our tee pads here are all turf and mud. So there's no concrete, but concrete can get slippery too, I guess, in the wet. But I would agree with Gabby that, yeah, we can, if you really want to make it happen, you can, like, any day play here pretty much. But I do see, like, the Finns have this awesome, like, turf bubble that they train in, and I feel like having that would be better than trying to make it work outside. So I feel like so you could have that anywhere. But they have this awesome, indoor football field type bubble, and they're throwing there, they're doing putting drills, they're doing strength exercises. I think they've really got it down. And I don't think they're worse off because of the weather, because they have such an awesome facility.
Yeah, that's the dream. We'll try and sneak onto like some soccer turfs at this time of year, like at 9 p.m. after people stop playing, just to kind of get some space that isn't super muddy, and it works well. But yeah, we're kind of truly sharing the space, if not getting kind of edged off the soccer fields. Fair enough.
Yeah, get a sign on the other side of the turf that said only permit users. When other permit users are present, nobody's allowed on the field. But nobody's kicked us off yet. So there's basically a bunch of soccer fields next to each other, and like we'll show up at like 9 p.m. and their games end at like 9:30, and we'll just like slowly take up more space as their games end. And we haven't been chased off yet. So, and then all the lights turn off. It's like a floodlights situation. So we have to like get all our discs by 10:15, otherwise it's like pitch black.
That's when you need the glow discs.
Yeah, last set of reps happens with glow.
That's a good point.
Maybe they should recognize that they're home to some of Canada's best professional disc golfers, and should maybe accommodate that.
We'll put in a pitch.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I can imagine that for both of you, it's probably felt like that escalated quickly sort of situation from playing a fun sport that somebody invited you out to being professional athletes. How is that? How's that transition been in your game from let's go throw these frisbees around to, oh man, like I could make money doing this, and this could pay for travel to all these different places. Starting with Gabby.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it still feels a bit surreal. And as I mentioned before, I never really found myself to be that competitive. So I feel like this year really was the first year where I felt like I was kind of going to the events with not a plan to win, but with a hope that I could, or a possibility that I could. And it was the first year that I kind of set my sights towards performing and not just having fun. That's always kind of the main goal, but there was always an underlying kind of, all right, like I could win this if I play well. So it's an adjustment. Definitely takes a different approach to mental game and such. And I don't know, it's fueling, hopefully not too naive of a dream that maybe one day I could be doing this full time. My husband still plays as well, so we talk about it quite a bit, where it's like, oh, hey, like, what if, and, what would a van look like if we did it? And, which events would we be playing if we could be playing full time right now? So it's spiraling in the best way possible. But yeah, try not to set expectations too high and just taking things day by day, year by year, see how this year goes. And if things are kind of going on the trajectory that they are, it's promising, but at the same time, just really, I don't know, going with the flow, seeing where this year takes us, and just soaking it all in while I can.
I guess, yeah, it has been a pretty quick sort of first, yeah, just playing for fun, and then going down to California with Brett's family and playing with his brother and his friends who are all really into it. And then just getting a little bit better every trip down, or every sort of round of tournaments, like coming up the other end with like more skills and sort of just a better game, has sort of turned into, yeah, just being recognized as a professional player in Canada, and it's really cool. I come from like, I've done a fair number of like competitive sports growing up, rowing, running. I've done like now I'm doing cycling here and there. So I have like a lot of experience like training for something and trying to like perform with something. And I always, when I do a sport, I like to sort of commit to it and sort of perform to my potential. So I feel like it's sort of naturally flown into disc golf for me. My partner is a javelin thrower, so he's got a lot, and he used to be a baseball pitcher, so he has a lot of good insights onto throwing form and training for throwing. Not that I'm doing any weightlifting. He wants me to start weightlifting, but I don't love weightlifting, and I'd rather just go for a run. But it probably is the next step for me, is to start adding in some strength training, just for injury prevention and bringing my game to the next level. But yeah, for me, it's cool now to be a professional athlete, because that's something growing up that I've always sort of dreamed of being, before I even knew about disc golf. So it feels awesome.
That's amazing. And sort of follow up to that, and Max, if you also want to chime in on this one, that would be great. But how did you explain this to your family and friends your friends outside of disc golf, the ones that don't really matter as much, but how do you explain to them sort of where you fit in this weird world of disc golf, this growing sport that probably most of them hadn't heard of before you started playing?
Yeah. I don't know, sometimes I'll say it's like I don't even know. Because my family now like has totally embraced it. My dad has more aces than I do, on tonal courses, but still he like beats me so badly on like any short courses. He's a really good thrower, high accuracy. But no, everyone's been super. Everyone thinks it's awesome, I guess. And I feel like I haven't met a lot of people that don't know what it is, and people that don't understand it. They're just like, cool. Yeah, I don't know, just have gone with it, and everyone else seems to as well. So not a huge adjustment, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd say there's a whole like spectrum of people who kind of understand or appreciate what disc golf is. I'll say like, oh, I played disc golf this weekend, like every Monday morning conversation at work. So what do you do? Play disc golf. And some people are like, oh, cool. Like, I've never heard of it. And then I'll have like, some of my, a boss that I have, she'll be like, did you cash? Like, so she kind of understands the concept that, this is a thing that's a pretty big deal. And my current boss, he plays ball golf. So he's like, I know what you're going through, very much like he appreciates what goes into this and what my priorities are with disc golf. But yeah, it's funny. Like, you'll have some people who just don't understand that it's a big thing and that there's big tournaments in places. But kind of likewise with Sofia, my family's just all in and they're like, oh, what's next? And like, congratulations. Like, they're so supportive. My like mom and dad are kind of one of the first on my posts to be like, so proud of you, even though they don't totally understand what's going on. But no, it's all over the place, but it's any kind of shared excitement is appreciated.
I definitely add that the Team Canada stuff has brought, like, I think more people that resonates with more people. It's like, oh, you represented Canada, or like, I think that's more familiar for people. And now they're like, oh, okay, like you're good at this, I guess.
Kind of gives it some validation.
Because before that, it's like, okay, like she's playing in these tournaments in this sport, but so I think that has, for me, like helped people understand. No, this is serious. I'm serious about this.
Yeah, and I mean, my dad played it when we were really young, so I've always kind of played it. Maybe like taking the step to doing it full time was a bit surprising to some people, but I think like family has always been really supportive. I think the only time you get people like, wait, what? Or like, you actually do that full time? Or is just like random people you meet. And I mean, I think more and more people are either already know about it, or like it just, now that there's a pro tour, people are making 6-7 figure contracts, like it, that all just kind of validates it, and people hear that and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I think the sport is getting to a point where like people might not hear about it, but people can understand that there's money in it. Like when people are making millions of dollars playing video games for a living, I mean, you can kind of justify doing a fringe sport.
Well, I mean, that takes skill. Like disc golf is just throwing frisbees, but video games take skill.
All luck here.
RuneScape,
But yeah.
right? That's what you're talking about, RuneScape? Yeah.
I will say everyone that I kind of bring up the fact that it's like, oh, it'd be cool to do this full time. Everyone's just been like, oh, you should do it, without kind of fully understanding what it is. But but I think maybe it's just people living vicariously through us to be like, oh, go and like explore the world, play disc golf, whatever it is. But yeah, it's not helping, because everyone I talk to is just like, you should do it.
Overly supportive.
And I know a guy selling an RV that's very capable of this.
I don't know if I'd recommend it to a disc golfer, because yeah,
only 10,000 a year in repairs, I think, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, you guys kind of briefly touched on, well, just being able to get to events. What do you guys do for work, and how does that allow you guys to compete?
Well, yeah, sure. I am, well, corporate Gabby is a 9-to-5 compensation analyst working for an investment company. So it's kind of nice. I get some opportunity to be remote at some time, but it is a hybrid arrangement right now. So need to be in the office for 4 days a week. So balancing that and working a lot with numbers and spreadsheets, which I do find some comfort in, and see it as a transferable skill to take with me on the road. But yeah, that's kind of what I do 5 days out of the week.
I just got out of grad school. I'm a doctor in chemistry. And until December, I was a postdoc for 6 months at the University of Victoria. And so it was a lot of just, I have really chill supervisors. So it was, I could sort of build my own schedule. So if I wanted to play around, or if I wanted to work remotely, I can sort of pick and choose when that happens. And now, as of January, I am just tutoring chemistry. So I am completely free. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. So it is actually like a perfect time to get sponsored and play some bigger events, and just use this time to see how I feel about, disc golfing full time, I guess, plus some biking and plus some tutoring. And I don't know. I'm still figuring out what the future is going to look like, but for the spring it's going to be mostly disc golf.
What's with all these chemistry doctors? Your fellow Team Canada alternate, Jeremy Gauthier, is also a PhD chemist. So
I didn't know that.
now you guys have something to bond over in Perth, aside from disc golf, obviously.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can start a company of making discs.
Well, Calvin Heimberg, the chemical engineer. I don't know how much
Oh, I didn't know that.
bleed over. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure if he actually did any work as a chemical engineer, but definitely went to school for it.
How's
Yeah,
your
sure.
knowledge of urethanes, Sophia?
Not great. I was a theoretical chemist looking at sort of metal surfaces. So
Okay.
Baskets.
Cool.
yeah,
There you
Yeah,
go.
baskets that can catch.
Basket. Yep,
Mm.
Theoretically.
Or that don't
Baskets.
catch as good.
with layers of cobalt and copper.
Okay, gotta make one that catches worse so that DGPT can pick it up.
Oh.
What?
Um,
As an aside, I usually have a couple tangents, so I'll have one of them now. Kale Leveska posting on Instagram about a change he made to his basket to make the catching different that he likes the change for. And what was it? I think he brought the cage up higher so the target area was smaller.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's still within regulations because I think we played on those for the preserve.
No, it was one he'd modified in
Okay.
his backyard
Okay.
recently.
Well, I mean, I don't know what happened to those Prodigy baskets that he used on for the preserve because they were different. They looked structurally the same, but did not perform as a normal. Are they T2s?
T1 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the new Prodigy baskets are. I don't know if it was a newer iteration or just a different chain composite because they were sliding through everybody was hating them, and they were like fully black, which was impossible to see from a distance. So it was a weird change, but I don't know if that's a similar thing to what he was toying with this new
Probably not
backyard
making them
basket.
black. No.
No.
I just pulled it up. It says experimenting with smaller catching radius and minimizing spit outs.
Yeah, I
Take a
mean,
peek
So I
at
think
it.
just making it a little bit skinnier,
I like
which I
that.
believe
Interesting.
configuration.
what's his name? Trash Panda guy, Jesse, also had a video at one point experimenting with that, and he had made a YouTube video about that. It's interesting concept.
I feel
I'm
like I'm only
interested to-
just getting used to putting on a regular basket that I can't fathom the idea of changing anything about them, but I'll let people do
Well,
their thing.
It's an interesting thing, and I'd like your opinion on it as well. Do you think that targets at a competitive level need to be changed? Because I know the big complaint from some of them was that those Prodigy T1s, Mach X's, will catch like a full 360 Simon Lizotte drive dead center and that won't spit out. And then other baskets with lighter chain arrangements allow spit throughs. And that there should be some more element of touch to putting than just hitting chains? Or do you think that our game is good the way it is and it's all about something else altogether?
Well, wasn't that what Klein was saying? That putting was more of a touch or finesse, or back in his day, I guess. Baskets didn't catch as much. I think whatever we decide on, it just needs to be standardized across every tournament, or I guess tour tournaments. But I am not opposed to making it harder to putt because that makes driving more important, right?
Hmm.
For me,
Hmm.
I don't mind if people aren't making as many long putts. But then I feel like it's just at that point it's depends on what's important in the game. And
Well,
is the game heavy on rewarding putting right now? Like,
I think
putting
you touched on it for the
I don't think it's
Nationals coverage when you were talking about like nobody having a pitch putt anymore, and that putt has kind of died from the game. And I think that's just kind of with basket evolution. So I don't know if these kind of things are good for the game, where you're kind of just restricting, okay, well, this putt is bar none more effective than all these pitch putters that did it because baskets wouldn't catch super fast putts, and that was a bit more controllable when it hits the chains. It's on a downward trajectory and less like just straight ahead force.
Do you think that I'm Ben Loggins by chance?
Yes.
Nice. I'm not, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I thought you did great on commentary, Jesse.
Thanks
For not being there. I thought you really contributed a lot.
Yeah, I did a great
Well,
job.
you usually do
Nailed
commentary,
it.
so
Yeah, I know. But
I know you listen to it, so
you know what? I've actually only seen 2 of the 9s.
I think you have talked about this before.
I have talked about this before, and that yes, like a pitch putt should be coming down towards the tray and should be a more effective way to get something to stop in that area. But when the chains do all the work, you see like these Nico Lacastro like flexed throws at baskets that are still catching, and I think
Gannon Burr
or
is
any
throwing
putt
at it,
Gannon makes, things like that maybe have grown so far away of what the intent was to the game that it could use a mix-up. But I think, like Sofia was saying, standardization is probably the key to all of it, so that everyone's playing on the same thing all the time, and not changing it up so that every local disc golf course has to change their equipment to keep up with the game, right? How many disc golf courses are there? 5,000? And you think that the local clubs are going to pay to have all the targets changed? Not a chance.
and probably like a pretty pricey one if it's a poor standard one. But I think as long as like spit outs is probably the worst thing. Like design a basket that minimizes spit outs as much as possible. But I think the whole idea with making a basket smaller, you're gonna minimize aces as well. And I think disc golf is kind of unique where like aces happen a lot more frequently than in ball golf. And that's like the only way we get on Sports Center.
Absolutely. And I think,
unless you go 18 down.
like you're saying, the argument started with wanting to standardize things to be more similar to golf, right? Like a par 3 is 1 drive and 2 putts in regular golf, and the lobbying for the marksman size baskets and things like that. But I think that if we accept that we're a different game and what makes us exciting is different than what makes the other guys exciting, then the whole conversation becomes a little bit void.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
making it. No, I think making it harder for the sake of being harder, I disagree with that. Similar to everyone else, like I agree with the standardization. You know, maybe every basket on the Pro Tour should be the same. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I think I'm only opposed to that conversation that disc golf is too easy and it needs to be harder and it's going to be made harder through putting. I think there are other ways to make the disc golf harder and it should be balanced throughout the course. So, you know, more diverse courses that have, you know, narrow gaps to hit or obstacles that you have to get around and whatever that is. But yeah, I like it. I don't know for sure it's a valid point, but I don't think the baskets need any changes for that reason. Yeah, I don't know. Don't make it harder, please.
I think it's one of those things where if you really at the competition, from the competition side of things, making it harder makes a lot of sense. But as far as the entertainment value and, you know, not just the entertainment value on the Pro Tour, but the entertainment value for, you know, all the AMs or any of the families that want to go play, you know, making all baskets harder is just, makes it less fun. And I think as far as just going out to play around, you know, keep it as is. But that being said, you know, if you need more scoring separation on the Pro Tour, then I think, you know, some sort of standardized smaller basket kind of makes sense in that, from that point of view. But
had like random narrow baskets just sprinkled into some holes.
Just
Yeah.
You know,
elevated
narrow-
basket.
Yeah, why not? We can mount the basket like 8 feet in the air.
yeah, maybe you could have one of them that's like width of a tonal.
Oh,
Ruin
just
some
do
hole.
tonals.
Yeah.
It's just at chain with a bird bath underneath. I think I played that in Farson actually.
It's funny actually. I brought it up in the past, but we have a little we call it the Lauder Farm course at my parents' house. It's just like, you know, the longest hole is like 150 feet. But my brother, one of the targets is literally a pole with just a bunch of chains dangling down off it because we just needed something to throw at.
We have one course here in Victoria that's kind of a not so secret course anymore, and all that's set up there are like Pringle can sized tonals. I think smaller than that even. So super challenging, and we're always a little frustrated when we play because we're like, why are we putting so poorly? It's because we're aiming at something that's like this wide and this tall, and I don't know. It's different, but it's harder. So hey, Disc Golf Pro Tour,
Yeah,
Wrinkle Cantonals,
that's a new sponsor.
I don't know. That would
Wrinkles.
I think, man, it would be great if we knew somebody that was like running a series of C tiers in the interior of BC or in the mountains. Like we could bring out some marksmans and do it for a tournament and see how
How does that
people
go
enjoy it.
for,
It's an X tier immediately, and you get no ratings. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Rusty
Big
ratings.
fun.
Ratings is a big part of that, I guess. Hey,
that's the main. That's the point
Dang.
of it.
yeah.
That
If
what's
they
the
could-
one that you guys have? The get in, get out, get rated. It would be the get in, get out, don't get rated.
That's right. We also joked about running an island series tournament here, where it's just all islands. Every hole is an island hole. I don't know if it
Island.
would fly, but it'd be cool.
get in, get out, get frustrated. Am I right?
Yes,
Nice.
the one guarantee.
Yep. I want to before we forget. I want to know about. Give me your putter, mid-range, fairway, and a distance driver you guys are excited about in your new lineups.
You go first,
Go ahead.
Sophia.
James. Oh, okay. So I've been putting with the JKs, JK AVRs. I like a bead. That was the biggest transition for me. A lot of the Innova drivers I'm super comfortable throwing, like destroyers, and wraiths,
leopards.
DX leopards. No, I don't actually throw those anymore, but I lost that. Well, my buddy lost mine, and I'm really mad. It's like a yellow one. Anyways, yeah. So the drivers, I felt great. I love the eagle for fairway shots as well as the Firebird. I've started throwing the Hawkeye as my kind of flip up straight fairway, and the J and the Mako 3 are my mids. The J is a new disc that I'm really excited about. It's stable. It's pretty stable. And then the Mako 3 is more of the straight and turnover. And then the Toro and the Cayman are my stable short range discs. And throwing putter, I'm still playing around with that, but the Invaders is a shallow putter that I've been throwing a lot. I did some Invader only rounds at Millstream, which is the tonal course. It's like 150-foot holes through the trees. So that disc is now completely wrecked. It's like covered in scratches and stuff, but because it's a base plastic. But I think I'm gonna get that in the premium plastic. I really have liked throwing that. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm bagging right now. A lot of stable stuff, and then and the Shrike for understable drivers too. So the slower discs are discs that I had to switch to using, but it hasn't been a very hard transition at all. You can't really go wrong with.
I'm so sorry. My stomach won't stop rumbling, and it's just making Max and I laugh.
Continue.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah,
to
we're
do
good.
with what
we just
you're
get
saying.
we just get your little giggles.
Oh
Nice.
goodness. I need to eat.
We got the whole in the bag from Sofia. So
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah, you just laughed at my whole bag. That's
Yeah,
so funny.
That's
No, honestly, you're throwing the popular molds. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that as like any pro playing for Innova's bag. You know, those are
Yeah.
sweet discs, and they're all great discs.
The only one I
yeah.
didn't hear was the AVR X3, which I thought
Invaders
might
pretty
have been in
similar.
there.
Oh, I
Yeah.
actually have one AVRX3. The other one I threw into water, sadly. But it's nice and dumpy. Like it doesn't, like if I mess up, it just dumps anyways, and doesn't, like the room for error is smaller than other discs. But I've found that like the Toro is pretty good
yeah.
for that as well. The AVR, just the plain AVR, has been throwing catch with that, and it's flies really nicely. So yeah. So I think it's coming together.
They make catch discs too. You don't have to break your fingers with a putter, Sophia. There's a Zephyr. There's a couple of other ones you don't.
Sonic.
The Sonic.
Zephyr is the first pull. That's pretty good. Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can get some of those, but I'm just like playing catch is a nice way to throw a disc a bunch. without having to get it. So we either let it hit us or we let it land and pick it up.
Play guts.
Playing guts soon.
Guts with a max weight golf disc.
Oh, yeah, I'm garbage at
Oh,
catch.
jeez.
Okay. Gabby, please tell me that you play catch with a glitch instead of a full-on golf disc.
Yeah, like I said, I'm no good at catching, but I can catch a glitch. So yeah, Sylvan and I will kind of pass that around. I'm still getting used to it for upshots. I don't have one in the bag, but no, it's a fun catch disc, and I can maybe try and convince Sophia to catch with one too.
Good, please do. What
Not
else? What
allowed
is
to
so?
touch any other disc now.
Yeah,
So no
burns your
glitches. But what
hands.
are you throwing then?
Yeah. So like Sophia, I was already pretty settled on a lot of fairways and mids with MVP. So the uplink for a mid range has always been in the bag. I think everyone should be throwing a relay, which is like a nice 6-speed, nice and straight. I don't know, it was my go-to last season. I think it'll continue to be a go-to forever. But playing with the wave as a distance driver and finding a putter. I'm working with some anodes right now, trying that out. Excited to try out the Pixel. It might be too deep for me. I have tiny hands. So we'll probably try an Atom or the Proxy for that. Tempo for mid approach. And what have I not mentioned?
Envy. No.
Envy, I still have to get my hands on and try one. So maybe,
I'll send you some.
Oh, excellent. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, no, it's there's so many molds I want to try with them, obviously, and I feel like I would have been full MVP anyhow if it weren't for just replacing discs that I had before. So no, super excited. There's so much I want to try, but thankfully, the Crave is another one. If we're talking about fairway drivers, that's just been a go-to. So yeah, the putters, mids, approach are kind of the main replacement discs that I'll be playing with starting out this season.
Awesome. There's a lot of people and a lot of ladies that are looking to get sponsored. Do you guys have any suggestions or advice for anyone that's looking to get sponsors, or what's the best way to go about it? And what's the general approach?
Say just don't be afraid to reach out to companies in the fall, or check online too when they announce their teams or when they are accepting teams. But I would draft up like a nice, not too long, but like thorough sort of introduction of who you are, what your goals are, why you're a good fit for the team. I actually had an email like that I'd sent to a couple of companies, and like most of the time I actually got like a nice response from them. And actually it was, I think most of the time they were like, we've already selected our team, but like please consider like applying in like the next year or whatever. I had my partner proofread the email and sort of customized it a bit depending on which company I was reaching out to. But I think like don't wait for someone to come to you. I think you really have to advocate for yourself. And if you know, or if you have the chance to sort of talk to a pro or someone that's already on the team, I think word of mouth goes a really long way in this sport. And I think for me, that's what ended up getting me on Team Innova, was just having people sort of advocate for me as a player and ambassador for the brand, I guess. So that would be my advice for sure.
Yeah, I'll echo the advocate for yourself, reach out, apply when team applications open, and in the meantime, get involved in the community. Find what you enjoy doing. If that's you don't have to run events. They could it's a big ask, it's a big thing, but find a way to get involved. Get involved with your local club, the leagues that are running, women's nights or putting leagues, whatever it may be. Just find a way to connect with the community and just start getting to know people and start getting to know, what your favorite discs are, your favorite companies are, and just stay in touch and just, I don't know, follow your passion. I think, as cheesy as it sounds, just if you're passionate about it, I believe that things will come. Good things will come. Yeah.
And like, don't get discouraged, because I was feeling pretty discouraged when I was getting like rejected, even though like it was like a really nice like, hi, like thanks for like applying, like our team is full, like I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get sponsored, like whatever, and then something did work out in the end. So it's like, just try to trust the process and
Yeah, keep doing your thing. Just keep
and
going.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a good time to like apply? Is there a good time to be sending word out? Is it like mid-season before the season ends, or kind of in October, Christmas time? What's the best time to start approaching teams?
I think it's case by case, because yeah, some companies, they're setting up their contracts like end of the year. People are signing stuff, but I think the earlier you can sort of get into conversations, the better. And some teams are like announced in September, so I think it is case by case. I think standard, from people I've talked to, is like the fall is sort of early fall is when you start kind of reaching out, like sort of after the big events finish, or when the bigger pro tour events are wrapping up. That's sort of a good time to start reaching out.
Yeah, I would agree with the fall as well. And at that time you kind of have a good repertoire of what your year would look like, and what you got involved in tournament wise, event wise, so you can kind of start reaching out, and whether it's an online application for some of the brands and companies, or it's a well worded email with a little repertoire of what you've done in the year, then I think that's a great time as well.
A couple of Park Pro YouTube links maybe thrown in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all great advice, but the actual correct answer is do outstanding commentary on Park Pro coverage. That's actually how you get sponsored. Everybody here has done commentary, and you're all sponsored. So
yeah,
I'm
for
not
Andre.
sponsored.
Oh,
and me too.
yet.
have you sent well worded emails out?
I've sent a lot of well-worded emails.
I've written strongly worded emails. Does that help?
As long as they're well worded as well as strongly worded.
Oh.
Oh.
Winter's also a nice time to
very
like,
fun.
look in the bag, so it makes sense for a player to sort of switch when the tournament season's kind of winding down, and you can adjust if you are switching equipment.
But yeah, segue. So much fun doing commentary for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much fun. Really appreciate you having us on, because it's just, I mean, even just like getting to watch it while we're doing it, I don't know, it's such great coverage. I'll, unbiased plug here. It's just so much fun.
We didn't call it horse course too much, did we?
Oh my gosh. We were doing it, and then I think we got to the end of the coverage, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I actually called it the Campbell Valley in design course. I think I called it horse course the whole time.
Hey, I went so far as to call it horsey coursey, so I think you guys are fine.
Okay. See, that might stick though.
Horsey,
I
yeah.
want it on the poster for BC Open next year.
Yeah, sorry,
Horsey
Stuart.
coursey. The InDesign horsey coursey.
Well, you guys both did a
well,
tremendous
yeah.
job.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you're new to the channel, you can check out TCO coverage. Gabby and the aforementioned Julie Mowens did commentary on the final round in FPO there, and Gabby and Sofia did the FPO commentary for BC Open. So if you want to catch up on some FPO disc golf, check those out, because they did a great job. And Gabby, I know we're going to have you back on commentary before the end of the year here, so stay tuned. Maybe even the next tournament. Who knows?
Who knows? What could it
I
be?
don't know.
Hopefully, please.
Yeah.
I'll check my
When is
schedule.
Nationals coverage scheduled? The FPO?
Friday? Great.
This week.
Yeah, thanks, Max. This is great. We've got everybody. I hope you enjoyed the MPO coverage of Nationals, because we're coming back to back FPO Nationals, all 3 rounds. Thank you to Can Disc Golf and the ODSA and all of the sponsors for nationals, because they made it possible for us to be out there with cameras on all 3 rounds of nationals. It's the only full tournament of FPO we were able to do, because they really went out of their way to accommodate us to get it done, because they wanted to see the country's top FPO players on film. So Friday afternoon, that's all locked and loaded. And if you're a patron of Parked Pro, you can literally watch it right now before you're listening to this. You could have listened to it yesterday while we were recording this. So for as little as $1.50 a month, you could be a patron of Parked Pro, and you can get early access to things like nationals.
Just gonna make a note here: post nationals to patron before podcast. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thanks. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link personally if you're a patron.
Yeah, and I think you guys deserve a bit of recognition, just because I remember at least one of the rounds, maybe 2 of the rounds, that you guys hustled to get both rounds filmed. Like, I think our tea time was actually pushed back just to give you guys a bit of a snack break, or because I remember the final round where everything was going on in FPO and everybody was like, all right, we were supposed to tee off like a half an hour ago and we still haven't got any word of when we're actually teeing off. But yeah, so kudos to you guys for hustling through that. I think Matt just ran to the van for a sandwich, but yeah, impressive.
Yeah, we slammed down some sandwiches. Those were nationals, were 7-hour days of running around with cameras. So yeah, but
do you guys get food memories? Because I have food memories.
This was the best sandwich I ever ate. And it was also the fastest sandwich I ever ate.
Yes.
But it was so much fun being out there. The FPO, especially the final round, was absolutely insane, but there was highlights galore in the other 2 rounds as well. And to go from that to what hopefully you've all seen was also an insane MPO tournament was just so much fun being out there. It's we're trying to film disc golf and be professional and make sure we're catching all the shots, but it's also we get to watch incredible disc golf up close, and it never gets old. It never gets old. And I would say we probably enjoyed filming the FPO stuff the most of anything we did all year. If you have a chance to go follow around and watch FPO, competitive FPO like Gabby and Sofia, get out and do it. It is super fun. And it's sorry, Max and Jesse, that's it's often more fun than watching the FPO.
I haven't been competitive for years, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Always joking around.
Yeah, we try to have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's always great watching you guys roll up on the course, even though we're not sure sometimes if, just depending on timing, right? If you'll be able to film, and then sometimes it's oh no, Park Pro's here to film, and then but it's always just such a good experience, and you guys are fantastic to have around on the card too. So thank you.
And you're
very
putting
welcome.
the map, right? People from in the US watch the coverage. They commented, they talked to me and they said, oh yeah, that was an awesome round. I actually watched that, and I was like, whoa, awesome. It's doing a lot for the sport in Canada too, so it's awesome.
Yeah, look out, Jomez.
Yeah.
We'd love to get that eye level, but that is our goal. It's our goal is to put Canada on the map and put Canadian players and courses on the map. So, any sort of push that we can move to get that push forward is, that's what we want to try to do. So, and I mean, I guess that kind of, this is probably my last question is, how important is it to have FPO coverage in specifically in Canada for you ladies and any other aspiring professionals?
I think, it's huge because in Canada, a lot of we don't have the disc manufacturers here. So it's, if someone doesn't know you, you can say, hey, this is me playing in an A-tier tournament. Watch this coverage. So just having that, like as a player from Canada, having and not having traveled to bigger events in the States where they have this coverage of FPO, I think having that here at home as well is just going to benefit. It's benefited us as players and getting sponsored, and it's going to benefit FPO players in the future getting sponsorships for sure. And it's going to help other FPO players, or it's going to help players watch people from Canada. Sorry, it's going to help fellow Canadians watch Canadians play, so it's going to spread the sport in Canada too. So
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like, even the tournaments you guys were filming in Ontario and out east, it's like, I know none of those guys. Or like, there's such a separate, like, yeah, just these hotspots of disc golf communities that you know your guys in your area. Maybe you travel 5, maybe 10 hours out of that bubble, but if you're not having coverage like this from tournaments across the country, you have no idea who these people are.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is I've connected with people across the country who've said like, "Hey, like awesome round."
Yeah,
on
it
social
makes a big country into a really small world really quickly. You see that face on coverage one time, you travel to a tournament that's further away, and then, oh my goodness, that's Gabby Lee in the parking lot, and I saw her on the Park Pro coverage. And you realize that these people are just normal disc golf fanatics, just like you, and you get to watch your friends play, and you get to cheer them on, and it's so small and so big all at the same time. It's a really interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, Jesse, I was going to say something similar. It's like disc golf is a small community in a sense, but Canada's so big, so it does make those connections easier. I mean, between social media and all that, it's any opportunity to build those connections, and especially to put faces to names. When when you're going on the registration lists and you're seeing like, oh yeah, I recognize that name, but I don't know if I've ever seen that person. And then now there's faces to names. There's awareness of amazing courses. Like, who knew Thunder Bay? Beautiful. Sad I missed out on it. Like, because I'd never been there. So no, I it's fantastic, and I think, and I hope, I know, it's going to make Canada a destination for disc golf as well. I think, up until previous, it's like, oh, you got to go to the States to play the big tournaments and the good courses, but that's here as well. So I think the more people we can bring here, the more it'll become a destination, and maybe the more big stops we'll see. Canadian disc golf tour will become bigger, I'm sure, I hope as well. And yeah, that'll be just as important as a stop as going down to the States to play Beaver State Fling. It'll be like, well, got to make sure I get out to Clearwater to play the Canadian Nationals. Park Pro's going to be there. So no, I think it's incredible. It's one of the best things that has happened to disc golf in Canada, I'm sure.
My heart's so big right now.
Actually, I want to have another tangent. If you can think of your like a small big world disc golf moment, because one just popped into my head. Karen Martel is going to be doing French commentary, I've heard, for you guys. And I met Karen very briefly with Max half a decade ago at an unsanctioned tournament outside of Montreal on the Pic, which is now closed. So it's a closed course, never to come back, unsanctioned tournament. Now she's a pro with Thought Space Athletics as well and doing commentary in Park Pro. Someone I thought I'd never ever see again.
I saw a guy,
Wow.
He's now on Team Discmania as well. He was playing at Worlds. And we both saw each other because it was like a Team Discmania dinner at Worlds, and saw each other and was like, we both were like, we've met each other before, but neither of us could nail it down. And then, because, he was from, I don't know if it was Ontario or Quebec, but kind of, definitely
Julian.
friend. Yeah.
Quenneville.
Exactly.
Juju.
Yeah. And then we just kind of clicked, and it was like, oh yeah, that unsanctioned, and he was just like ripping on me because I just came and took all the CTP prize money and won the tournament, and he was like, yeah, what the heck were you doing there? But yeah, it is cool to, and like, even, okay, another tangent, spent some time in New Jersey. We played on Steve Brinster's home course. That was the closest like good course to us. And I mean, I saw Brinster a bunch on the course. My dad was pretty involved in the community there, and then played Worlds at Smugs, or no, just played Green Mountain Championships at Smugs, and he was there, and I just kind of passed him at the they had a dinner banquet, and just passed him and just kind of said, "Don't know if you remember me, I'm Max." Played a bunch at Warwick Township Park, and totally was just like, right off the bat, remembered my dad, remembered us, and it was like such a cool moment to, like, Steve Brinster, USDGC champion, like big name in the sport,
And the designer of that course.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really cool. It's always, you find these scenarios that you're in, and you see people that maybe you haven't seen for a long time, or I'm always surprised at how good these people's memories are. Like, I'm terrible with faces or names, but some of these guys will just remember seeing you once on the course 6 years ago and remember your name. And it's just like, yeah, it's pretty special.
We should have Julian Quinville on the show sometime. He was one of the inspirations for having a Canadian disc golf tour, because I had a similar experience where I met him at not a huge tournament, but one of our sort of medium-sized Alberta tournaments in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, and it was just like this guy from Quebec was at this tournament where it was mostly locals. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm trying to become a touring pro." And I was like, "Well, great. When are you going down to the States?" Because like, what, you realize you're in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, and he's like, no, like a Canadian touring. I want to be the first like touring Canadian pro. And I was like, oh wow, okay, I like it. And that was 2 years ago, maybe even 3. I don't even remember. It might have even been post-COVID or pre-COVID, but yeah, he was kind of ahead of it. Yeah.
Because him, Brian, Patrick, and maybe one other got in the car and drove to Falcons Flight, and I'm assuming that's part of that same trip. And
it might have been.
Brian was he's a barber, and he was cutting hair at Falcons Flight to pay for his gas back to Quebec.
That's also funny because they were commuting to Smugs, going back and forth over the border every night. I don't even know how many hours, but yeah,
Can't be that close.
probably 3 or 4 hours.
Wow.
Jeez.
But for World Championships.
So
Big day.
Oh,
shout out Julian.
Yeah. I did get a message from Dean Krause, and this is more sponsorship news. Mostly, if you never know, if you send us a message, we're going to mention you on the podcast. So Dean just wanted to bring up that that congrats to Daryl Watson, who is sponsored by Gateway Disc, Matt Anona, who is with Prodigy and others, Graham Garlick with Prodigy Tournament Team, Josie Lockey with Team Lone Star, and himself, Dean Krause, with Prodigy. He's a Prodigy ambassador. So congrats to all you guys for those sponsorships. Also, shout out TK.
Yeah,
TK's
shout out
still on the
TK
video.
because you know what, we thought we were the new hotness on YouTube when it came to disc golf, and especially Canadian disc golf. But I got bad news for everybody. We've already been surpassed
In cuteness factor, for sure.
in cuteness, in bombs.
Fuckface.
The channel is called Little Disc Golf Pro, and I'm not technologically capable of pulling it up. Maybe I'll throw an overlay on if I get really adventurous here, but look up Little Disc Golf Pro on YouTube. It's kid friendly. It's on YouTube Kids because it features kids, 8-year-olds playing disc golf, and they're better than you.
And apparently editing their own videos.
And editing their own videos.
When you said that, I was like, that didn't even cross my mind as a possibility. I was just like, wow, TK needs to up his game. But that video was amazing.
The
Yes.
forehand X step
Yeah,
really
the
got
X
ya.
step on the forehand was so good. And
It's-
the huck faces were to die for.
It's crazy
What's
that,
up?
like, these kids. I guess I could just hold my camera up to the screen
High
here.
tech.
OMG.
If you like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's awesome.
Everything into it.
Amazing.
It's got great music.
Yeah,
It's
the kids are smashing. Like kids are learning so fast. Like they're already, some of those kids have way better form than I do. And I think partly that's TK's coaching. So Thomas, well done. Little Disc Golf Pro. Check it out on YouTube. It's awesome.
Cute.
Well, guys, I don't have anything else. I don't know if you guys got any more questions or.
Did we see the disc? I think we saw it pre-show, but Sophia, how can people support you and maybe even other friend of the show, Stu McKissick, for your trip?
McKissick. Yeah. So, as mentioned earlier, we're going to Worlds for the WIFDIF Team World Championships for disc golf, and to support our trip there, we have gotten a custom stamped disc. So that one will be available in Halo plastic and I think Color Glow plastics, and we're gonna do probably like Shrikes and Destroyers and Thunderbirds, and then some other discs. And then the second mold, we have a second mold that's in like I think those will be more like 30 Canadian, like less expensive, and just in classic Star and Champ plastics will be that animal lost in the Outback themed stamp. Where I'm a beaver and Stu is the moose. So yeah, both of those hopefully will be in finished and ready to sell in about a month or two. We just finalized the stamp today, and we're gonna get that sent off to Innova. The classic stamp is actually gonna have it's gonna have two stamps. It's gonna have the red stamp separately from our silhouettes, so it's gonna look really awesome. And we're trying to get them to do their best to select white and red Halo plastics. So it should look really nice. And there's gonna be a limited amount. So you can just reach out to either of us if to see what we have and reserve a disc. But yeah, we just went live with that today, and we've been getting lots of awesome messages and stuff. So it's exciting, and hopefully it'll support a good chunk of our trip to Australia.
Well, I will buy one, and we will give it away on the podcast.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
Sweet. That means the one I was going to buy, I can keep and throw. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
It'll be cool because I think we're going to try and keep some for ourselves too. So we'll be throwing them, and people in Canada can throw them at the same time, like while we're competing. So it'll be I think it'll be awesome.
Amazing. And for the YouTube viewers, your Instagram handle is on the screen, but for the audio viewers, it's just Sofia Donnecke, spelled the traditional German way, Donnecke.
Exactly. Easy.
Sophia with an F, Donnecke with two N's, an E, a C, a K, and then another E at the end.
Exactly. Just the way it sounds.
Now, please tell me that at least one of your German relatives was happy that we put an umlaut on your name on coverage, because that actually took several minutes of work.
Several minutes.
Several.
I'm sorry, yeah, you didn't have to do that, but my grandpa and grandma are very happy.
Okay.
They don't speak English, but they're very happy.
All right, well, maybe they can do German commentary for us, or maybe you could do German commentary for us. Now that we figured out how to do second languages. Yeah. And Gabby, do you have any plans for any fundraising discs, signature discs? Are you going to take the envy away from Eagle and James and call it your own, or what's the plan?
Could never do that to Eagle, not my teammate. No, some very early planning in the work for a fundraiser disc. So more to come on that. Like I said, very early planning, but conversations are being had, and yeah, we'll see where it goes, but hopefully it doesn't, take too long to get that ball rolling. Should be connecting with a really amazing artist to hopefully get, we'll see what the stamp will be. It might be rabbit related. Gotta have a cute little bunny on there. So we'll see. But yeah, it's in the works. So stay tuned.
Amazing. And for those of you not watching, Gabby, you can follow Gabby on Instagram. Is that the best place to find you?
Yes, that is it.
Gabby. Oh, I thought it was Gabby Glee.
Oh yeah.
I like Gabby Glee.
Yeah, like Gabby, you're a big Glee fan.
Oh gosh. People bring that up every now and then, but no, my middle name starts with a G as well. So yeah, a little personal information there.
All right. Sweet. Well, we look forward to hearing that. We'll make sure to let people know again when both of those discs are out. Because we'll pick one up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Max, you got a disc yet this year? Come on, I want that big Max PD3.
Yeah, got lazy with it last year. I think we'll have to lock it down for this year.
Yeah, we'll sell them. We're gonna have a web store soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll sell them, but also it sounds like a good opportunity for people to join the Patreon, because we're definitely going to be giving a number of discs away. So patreon.com/parkpro. And the big reveal, if you're listening, you got to pause, go to the YouTube channel, because we have some swag. That's right, coming soon to a Park Pro store near you. We got bucket hats.
Is that a jean hat?
It's like it's more of a polyester material.
That's sweet.
It's a faux
Love it.
jean hat.
Yeah, it just looks like it.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, you like bucket hats? Guess what? We've got another bucket hat that says buckets on it.
Heard
Buckets.
you like bucket hats.
How about if you don't like
Amazing.
those bucket hats, we've got maybe the most stylish of all.
Oh, I need that for
I
Australia.
love that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I peer
protect-
pressured Casey into buying that hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
We can match.
I'm gonna peer pressure everybody else into buying these hats because they're cooler.
We
should
can
make
all
it-
match.
You
We've
should make
got
it more
mesh back ball caps coming in. These are all super high quality too. We've got, actually that was a flex fit. We've got mesh backs that are stretchy mesh backs, stretchy trucker caps. I've never heard
Is
of
that
it.
what you're wearing right now?
No, they're too nice. And we just got them literally today, and we've got this
my
like
gosh.
sick. It's like almost like a corduroy material.
I call it carpet. That's the carpet hat.
Yeah, almost too
And
nice
these
to wear
are-
on the course.
These
Good
are
sales pitch, Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patreon exclusives, or
Are you gonna put it
We'll have
online
them
as a
up on-
carpet
we'll have
hat?
them up. Yeah, I will actually. That's going to be the
Nice.
label. Marketing.
And then
Marketing.
finally, look at this blue. Look at this Park Pro blue we got going on in this one. So we
And
just got
beautiful.
these. We're
And
not going
I
to have our
think
stuff together ready right away, but soon. Stay tuned.
Real soon. But if you join the Patreon by next week, we will be giving away a hat for sure on next week's podcast.
We should make these carpet hats Patreon exclusive.
Should make the carpet hats Patreon exclusive.
Those are
That's
nice.
not a bad idea. What I was gonna say though, no, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Join the Patreon. Falling apart here.
Well, we were talking about baskets before and putting together like a fun course of different size baskets. I know who I would call if I was trying to put together like a disc golf park, for example.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We haven't shouted out our sponsor of the podcast yet, aside from at the very beginning there in our intro. Disc Golf Park. It's a unique disc golf course concept developed in Finland in 2005. It's based on the idea of building sports facilities in an environmentally friendly way. Disc Golf Park provides great experiences for players of all skill levels, from beginners to professionals, and our main ideology is to introduce disc golf to new audiences. There are several options to suit any kind of course, and all official disc golf parks include professional and safe course design, Disc Golf Park Pro targets, tee pads and tee sides, and an info board to welcome players to your course. The Disc Golf Park World concept consists of multiple courses designed for different types of players. Multi-golf is a new fun activity for the whole family, and in multi-golf, 3 forms of golf are played: foot golf, disc golf, and park-style pitch and putt. School Disc Golf Park offers students a new and exciting form of exercise for the physical education class. A course suitable for schools can be designed even in a small area, for instance, a schoolyard. Furthermore, the costs of school disc golf park are lower than those of regular disc golf parks. We also offer private and group lessons or clinics. And for more information, check out the website at discgolfpark.com and request a quote today.
You were so close.
So close. While I was reading, I was like, I'm freaking nailing this.
He's
one.
got the flu. He's got the flu.
Yeah.
He hasn't eaten all day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I'm surprised you forgot to say that after memorizing all of that. Well done.
Yeah, totally by memory. It's not on a screen and behind the thing
No.
at all. Nailed it. Awesome. Well, if that's it.
Final words.
Thank you guys.
Any shout outs? Any last words for everybody?
Shout out your sponsors now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Big
Yeah, this is
Shout out to
maybe-
my sponsor, MVP Disc Sports. Got it in first.
Innovat Champion Disc.
You. Weird. I'll have to. I'm gonna forget to do that at least
Hey,
times.
And it's gonna be when you guys win tournaments as well. You guys got to remember to do it then as well.
I heard you don't
Yeah.
get your bonuses if you don't.
Oh.
Oh,
Are we
Right.
all wearing logos except for Gabby? Did Gabby drop the ball?
I should have been.
I don't know. I'm waiting for my allotment, including gear.
Gabby is her own brand.
Yeah.
The Gabby Glee brand, apparently.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
No, was that Sophia?
Is that tie dye?
It is tie dye.
Oh my gosh! Guess what?
Nice.
Cute. There it is.
Yeah. We'd have like an Island Golf logo and brand our tie dyes with
There you
our
go.
own golf. I don't know.
Merch.
Anyways,
But yeah, no.
Guys
Other than
can-
that,
you
thanks
guys-
for having us on. That was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah. So awesome to have you guys on. Yeah. Hopefully we can get you on more throughout the season as well.
Would love that.
Awesome.
Well, from all of us here, six of us? From all six of us here at Parked Pro, hats off to you, ladies. Great job. Congratulations. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll see you on coverage down the road.
Oh yeah. You know it.
Woo.
Bye.
All right. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.